So I laid the marker sheet over top of this. I wasn't tracing so much as I was drawing because I wanted to get my lines straight. My next step was actually to look in Canvas and notice that the example there has some notations as to what colors were used. Okay, it said that walnut was used, and I don't have anything named walnut. So I'm going to use this dark marker here, which is called cocoa bean. I also saw that sienna brown was used. Light tan. Goldenrod, and I thought maybe you didn't get a goldenrod either, but then I looked and I found that I had my goldenrod up with my oranges. So that's the warm tone that makes the desk in the example. Here's the example right here. See that? So a lot of those warm undertones, all of this I think is the goldenrod. Notice that underneath there it says sand, goldenrod, light tan, walnut, and S brown. I don't know what that is, so I'm using another lighter color that's not on the list, which is cinnamon toast. That'll get me to the lightest marks that I need to make on this desk. Okay, so this is kind of like thinking through this in a number 10, 30, 50, 70, 90%, right? My 100%, I can certainly go into black with this. All right. I have my markers lined up. Maybe I'm going to start with my lightest marker just to feel it out and see what happens. Notice that in the top part of the desk, it sort of breaks the rules of our perspective mark making, right? Notice how we say these go up and down because this plane we can either put marks up and down or we can put them off to vanishing point right. These should go up and down or they should go off to vanishing point left. The marks up here should go to vanishing point right or vanishing point left. So why are the marks going vertically? It makes it look really polished and shiny, doesn't it? Yeah, it gives it a reflective surface. So this is one trick you can use if you want to make a surface look shiny. All right, so I'm going to take this marker, I'm going to chip in, I'm going to do it in a place where I know I'm going to go darker on it. So I'm just going to start stroking here underneath the desk to see what that marker looks like. I turn it over and I stroke upwards. For those of you who asked how to protect the furniture, I have laid down onto my desk here a drawing pad. So I took the cardboard back of my tracing paper and I basically laid that down on the desk. And then I taped a sheet of 11 by 14 typing paper, actually. I call it typing paper. You guys probably call it Xerox paper. No, you don't call it Xerox either. What do you call it? Printing paper? Printer paper, right? So I have my desk well protected, and I also have a blotter. What I've noticed is that when I do this on top of those plastic sheets, it gets all goopy and runny, and then I pick up the marks from underneath, and I don't like that a lot. So I like having this blotter underneath just in case I get a lot of material down. All right, so I want to get this started.
So right now that's your lightest color?
This is my very lightest color. Yep.
Oh.
This is cinnamon toast. I'm chipping into the edges and I'm working up from the bottom and down from the top. And I'm stroking always sort of in an up and down movement, right? I'm not even going to bother going around the edge of it on this side with my cinnamon toast because I know everything in the shadow is going to be darker than anything in the light. So what's the point of wasting marker over here with cinnamon toast, yeah? I'm going to put some cinnamon toast up at the top. So again, I'm chipping my marker, I'm putting my marker towards the line, and instead of pulling in towards a vanishing point, I'm just going straight down and I'm putting that in. Notice that's not very random. See how those are all placed the same distance apart? I'm going to try and do better over here. They're still the same distance apart, so I'm going to make some of them thick and some of them thin and some of them differently shaped and spaced. That's already starting to look a little bit shiny up there, isn't it? Turn it around the other side and let's stroke in the opposite direction. You may want to take your paper and hold it flat to the edge of a board or something like that, or maybe you want to glance at the edge of your page each time you make a mark so you remember what straight is or what straight up and down might be. I'm intentionally leaving some white marks in here because I want this to look really shiny, so I don't want to fill it all in with this marker. But it doesn't matter if I do a little too much of this marker because I know I'm coming in with darker marker later to get some more of that effect. It also has been stroked a little bit horizontally right and left from this edge in this way. And that's just sort of to get the horizontal of the desk. So basically what I've just done is I've taken my lightest marker and I put some marks down that kind of give me a format for what I'm doing in the future. And it's given me basically a practice run, right? I think I'm going to jump now to this goldenrod. I see that there's goldenrod here. This is quite a warm section here, and then there's quite a warm section here. I'm going to put a few stripy things up and down from top and bottom so that it's not so rigid. This is meant to look like wood, right? So I'm kind of thinking about, if I were to do a wood grain in here, I'd be going like this, wouldn't I? See how I've made these pointy arrows going up and down? You can do that if you want. I would recommend doing that later with your pencil. Gotta flip this over. This edge is going to be really wonky. Of course, this is working just the way that we did our shading thing last week. So I'm going to go with the pointed end of my marker, and I'm going to go along the bottom here so that I don't have that wonky wobbly edge. I'm going to go along the top. Right? So that I'm meeting the top and the bottom like I should. Now I've got the point out, I can come down here a couple times. Notice how I'm starting to get sort of a stripy effect in there. Definitely want some of that to go up top. Now I don't want to copy what I did. I want to jump into the white a little bit. I want to go over top of it sometimes. I want to not go over top of it sometimes. And I want it to look random. And of course, because I'm human and my tendency is to make everything perfect, or my desire is to make everything perfect, I'm probably going to have to look at this and say, okay, all those marks are kind of too much the same. So I'm going to come along here and I'm going to rough it up a little bit. I'm going to put some of these in there and some of those in there. Maybe I'm going to make some of them meet up. And then my last step is to flip the pen around and get rid of that ragged edge. So I'm basically just drawing right along here and right along here to make sure that edge of my desk feels solid. I think I want quite a bit of this goldenrod out front here. Making myself jump to the other side because I find I'm just, again, I'm putting them every 2 inches or so, and that's not going to work. This, I think, is all going to go darker along here, so it doesn't matter if I put goldenrod over there or not. But I think for my lightest marks over here, I probably want to have a little bit of the lightness. So I'm going to put it down here where I think there's going to be some reflected light. I want to meet that up with the edge, make this a little bit more stripy in here. So I lay some marks down carefully, then I go and I lay some marks down sort of roughly and scribbly, and then I go back and I lay some marks down carefully, and I just go back and forth between. Notice how these are all coming down from the top. I want some coming up from the bottom, and it looks scribbly there, so I'm going to join some of those up and make it just a little more smooth. Not too worried about it because I can always go back and do something else. This marker is a little bit cooler and a little bit darker. I want a shadow under here, so I'm going to start laying a shadow under the lip. And this I'm going to use over here. I'm going to stroke this down into my goldenrod. This color is light 10. Doesn't look 10 at all to me, it's quite warm. See how already I've got to turn from light to dark around the corner of that desk? I want this to continue over to here, and then I want this to be a solid turn around the corner there. Stroking some things in to darken it up. I think I'm going to go across this a couple times this way because I want those lines to be seen a little bit more. Maybe I'm going to bring some of this into the top of the desk here and there. I feel like my desktop is too choppy, so I'm going to bring some strokes all the way up and down here and there. I feel like the front of my desk is too choppy, so I want to unify and connect some of those marks, get a little bit of nuance going in there. Feels a little better. All right, cool. I'm going to go to the next dark. I gain confidence as I move along, right? Actually, I want to do some more stuff out front here with that one. I don't think I got anything coming this way or that way out here. And I want just a little bit to unify my drawing. I'm going to go to the lighter marker now back here. Now I'm kind of making some triangles that might suggest wood. Not too much. When I went with the darker marker, I kind of stopped seeing my lighter tones. So I'm going back in and I'm putting those lighter tones in. I'm reasserting them. This looks a little ragged in the shadow. That's okay because I'm going to go over the shadow now with the next dark level. So I'm going to come in here with this. I'm going to put this shadow up under this edge. I think I'm going to stroke this side with some of this darker stuff. Yeah, that's feeling better. I do want a couple strokes of this, I think, up top. Not too much. Just a little something, something to make it do its thing. To unify my drawing, I want to do color continuation, right? Which means that I want to work all the colors over all the surfaces just a little bit. I'm just going to do more of the dark colors in those dark areas, right? better. Now I'm up to my darkest marker, aren't I? That is really, really dark. I think I'm going to try something in between this and that before I go all the way to the dark side. So I'm going back to my marker packet here. And I've got something here called eggplant. Eggplant is a little purpley, so I'm going to make a mark over here first to see how it's going to look with those others. It seems a little bit dry. Yeah. Here's my eggplant that works. Okay, see how that's in between those two? I think I'm going to use eggplant. So I'm going to go right up here into my shadow starting with eggplant. I'm going to really highlight the fact that that's dropping down. As I do that, I notice I haven't done anything over here, right, on this side of my desk. So look how all of this has all those striations, and this here is really flat. Looks like that's something I'm going to have to resolve. I did a long and a medium and a short as I turned the corner. I think I'm going to go down and do that on the bottom too. Long, medium, short, longer, all the way around the edge. That's really turning the corner now. See how you move from the light side to the shadow side? Do some more eggplant over here. That's really helping. I'm going to go to the one that's just lighter than eggplant. Which one was that? This guy here. Yeah. Darken this side again some more, because I don't want anything in the shadow to be as light as anything in the light. It's nice. It's starting to pop. I want to do some work along here. Notice when I work with the pointed edge of my marker, look how ragged that gets. All those scattered marks along there, not pretty. So I'm going to turn my marker around, and I'm going to combine a bunch of them. That looks better. I'll take my eggplant over here. I'm going to turn this corner right here. Put a few eggplant marks along this edge so that that looks darker the way this looks darker down here. In fact, I'm going to take my eggplant, I'm going to make this line right here turn so this starts to turn away from the light. Pull some strokes down from the top to unify it. Go one marker lighter. Knock that down a bit. Now here I'm losing this edge again, right? It's probably going to be that at the end of my drawing I'm going to go in with my black. Here I have reserved my cocoa bean. So let's try that first. See if that doesn't turn the edge for me. And give you a delineation between the side of the desk and the other thing there. This is a little ragged in this corner right here. So I want to fill that in with my lightest color. I don't want to fill all of my whites because I want some shine up there. But I'm going to take those spots where it seems to be out of place or it seems to jump out at me or be too much. Sort of darken that up a little bit. I'm ready to do metal. This desk has a metal panel on the front and metal legs. I want to do in warm markers this time because I always show you how to do cool markers. So I'm going to do my metal in warm tones this time. I'm going to take my 30% and I'm going to go at a 45-degree diagonal across this way. Then I'm going to turn my page and I'm going to go 45 degrees in the other direction. Sometimes meeting those lines and sometimes not. Always chipping into the edge so that my marks start nicely along the edge. I'm going to take my 10% next, I think, and make some of those light areas a little bit thinner. So I'm getting a streaky stroke in there, and then I'm going to take my 50. Actually, I'm going to take my 30 first, so I'm going to put a shadow under there. So I'm going to cast this shadow right here. I want that to continue looking like that lip is casting a shadow over the edge. So now I'm going to take my 50 and I'm going to go here. About half of that's 50 and about half of it's 30. If I wanted to blend it, I could go back to the lighter marker. I think it's going to be just fine. Now I'm going to pull this 50 here and there. My first stroke scared me a little bit. Oh, it's so dark. But let's see if I can recover from that. Let's take this and put it down as if I meant to do it. And then let's take the 30 and let's blend some of those edges a little bit. I actually do need to go up to 50 here because I need to have a bit of a contrast, right? If I just had it at the 30, I'm going to take this 30 now, I'm going to rub along the edge of here so that I'm sort of meeting all my marks up. I kind of went over the edge there. The way that I'm going to fix that, because I can't really outline it here, is that I'm now going to take my cool markers, I'm going to cast a shadow underneath. First, I'm going to take my 50 and I'm going to shade this side of the leg and this side of this leg. And this leg here is meant to be round. I'm going to put that whole thing in shadow because it's dark down underneath there. All right. Now I'm going to take my 30. Actually, I'm going to take my 10 and I'm going to do this side of the leg so they're looking like it's really turning the corner there. I'm satisfied. I don't need to get my 30 in there at all. All right, I'm now going to take my cool markers just for fun. I could do the shadow with the warm markers. I could have done the metal with the cool markers too if I wanted to, but I'm going to take my 30%. I see that there was a shadow drawn in underneath this. So I'm going to go ahead and fill that in. Then I'm going to go to my 50. I'm going to put my 50 right up against here. Actually, we taught you last quarter to start with your 70, didn't we? So, where's my 70% cool? Right here. Let's take the 70% marker. Put a little, notice I didn't draw the whole thing. I'm just putting a dash from this end and a dash from that end. You can go all the way across if you want. I'm going to do it over here for sure because I want to square this up. I've got some raggedy things going on. So I want to start that with 70. I want this to go 70, nice and solid. Then I'm going to go back to my 50. On the edge of that just a touch. So I'm not so ragged along there. This 50 is a little dry. I'm going to use the other end. Yeah, nice, right? That blends out. This can blend a little bit if I feel like it. And then I can take my 30 and finish my blending out here. So the shadow gets a little bit lighter as it moves out to the edges and a little bit deeper as it moves back underneath. I, at the end of every single furniture drawing, want to take my Micron pen. I really like the 50%, but I'm going to go back in. I'm going to reinforce my drawing. I don't need to re-outline the entire thing or trace it, but look at what this is doing at this edge. Look how much clearer this corner looks when I go back over top of it with my Micron pen. All right, that creates the kind of detail that I want in your drawing. I want to see that you have proper perspective in these corners. So here I've got a line going to vanishing point left and a line going to vanishing point right. Under here where I've got this ragged edge might be just like the homework that you did last week where you have a little bit of something running over. Take your Micron pen and draw a line in there.
Which number was the pen?
This is a number 5 I'm using now. If you're nervous, you may want to go with the 3 first, and then if you feel like it's not enough, then wail on it. It's part of the reason that I got him to get you the number 5s. Ms. Yulin doesn't use number 3 and 5. She's got you using a 1 and a 2 all the way along. But for me, that seems like a little bit too light. I'm not going to outline my shadows. I think that they're nicer sort of fading in and out. I'm not going to connect. I'm not making my marker go all the way along the front of this. If I wanted to go back to maybe my number 1 or my number 3 pen and do some lines so that I have variation of line quality, I could go in and do that. Now I've got a thicker line and a thinner line. And that always adds to a drawing. Okay, so that's the desk. Here's a bunch of brown pencils I can use, right? And here's a lighter brown even. So it looks like you've got 4 or 5 different pencils. Maybe I need to come over here and see what this does. Look how close this pencil is to this tone here, right? This is my terracotta, and it looks quite a lot like that thing there. This one here is probably, look at that, how close that is to goldenrod. So to blend goldenrod into the other thing, if I come in here with this goldenrod pencil and I start drawing some V shapes, I'm going to get the subtlety of the wood grain in there that I didn't want to do with my markers because my markers are so clunky, right? So notice how you're starting to see a wood grain. I hope you're starting to see a little bit of a wood grain expressed in there. If it's not enough, maybe I'm going to go to my next darker marker and I'm going to say wood grain. Now what if I do a really bad wood grain? I'm going to do a really bad wood grain here. Okay, so here I've done stripes going, or arrows going up, and here I've done arrows going down to sort of express a wood grain, right? And I look at it and I'm like, it's clunky, I don't like it. You know, I wanted it to do something a little more subtle than that. I'm going to take my colorless blender and I'm going to rub it in there a little bit. And it's basically going to soften my lines. I can practically erase them. Look how nice and soft that is now. Do you see a subtle, let me pull my hands out here so it'll focus. Focus right here. Poor little camera. Okay, so now you've got some more subtlety in there in terms of those lines. You can have a second go at it, or you can take something in here that makes it a little bit. You don't need too much of a wood grain. Just go in once in a while and give yourself, this side's going to need the dark. If I want to do wood graining here. And just put a mark here and there. You don't want to go over the whole kind of thing. Notice how I put a little bit on this edge and this edge, and that's enough for this because I've already got the stripiness of the marker feeding my wood grain concept.